Good Saturday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. I am your meteorologist, Joseph Peterson. Let's go on and talk about the weather for your Saturday evening going into your future. We have some stuff that we are going to talk about tonight. Obviously, we have some stuff in the tropics going on, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the current weather, what's going on right now throughout the state, also the weather for tonight, just in general, and just what's going on for the general future. But some other extra stuff that we might add in. We're going to talk about the flood risk that goes in for tonight. We're going to talk about the temperatures as well. We're going to talk about the temperatures as well, and we will continue to talk about the breezy conditions and what's going on with that as well. So we're talking about all that. If you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button yet, go ahead and do so. We have 5 people watching right now and only 4 likes. So go ahead and hit that like button if you have not already. So what is currently going on right now throughout the entire state of South Carolina? Well, we have some heavy rainfall going on right now, especially over here just to the west of Bennettsville, near Pageland, South Carolina, Hartsville, Bishopville, going down into Sumter, and then also into Moncks Corner and Latson. We have rainfall even in downtown Charleston, where a lot of that heavy rainfall is going on. But other areas that are definitely included over there inside of Somerville, Latson, also inside of Georgetown, and then over into Marion, Florence, Darlington, Dillon, Columbia, Lexington, also over there near Camden as well. Rainfall is going on over there, but obviously the yellows and the oranges, those are the more moderate to heavy rainfall, while the green is obviously the light to kind of moderate. What's going on throughout the entire U.S.? Do in fact have some rainfall going on not only in South Carolina but North Carolina as well. Rainfall going on in Georgia, Florida, Pennsylvania, New York, and even over here inside of the Dakotas and Nebraska. We also do have some rainfall in Minnesota and Iowa, and even over there inside of Utah, where some severe weather is going on. Also some rainfall in Arizona and New Mexico. Rainfall in also inside of Montana, going into Washington and Oregon, and some of that might actually be snow. And right now, not really seeing too much, but I can kind of start to see where those pinks and blues are starting to come in a little bit over here, inside of like southeastern Idaho. But other than that, everything else just looks like some rainfall. So what's going on right now in terms of cloud cover? Well, cloud cover right now, honestly, is throughout the entire state right now. Everybody is receiving some sort of cloud cover right now. And if we go into cloud cover for the future, you can probably guess what's going to happen. It's going to be pretty much the same thing, nice and cloudy, if you like cloudy weather, as you go through like the next 18 hours or so. Low temperatures for tonight, around 57 in Anderson, 58 in Greenville, as well as 59 in Spartanburg, 59 in Lawrence, and 60 in Newberry, 62 in Columbia, and even 62 in Orangeburg, 60 in Walterboro, 64 in Hilton Head Island, 63 in Charleston, and 62 in Moncks Corner, 60 in Kingstree, as well as 62 in Florence and Sumter, 62 in Georgetown, 64 in Myrtle Beach, and even 62 in Cheraw and Dillon. In terms of rainfall for tonight, 100th of an inch to a 10th of an inch goes on still for places like Greenville and areas just close to Greenville. Anderson might be included in there. Maybe even a 10th of an inch to a quarter of an inch possible in Spartanburg. Also Lawrence and Greenwood. Quarter of an inch to a half an inch in Newberry, Rock Hill, Aiken, as well as Barnwell. And then maybe even a half an inch to an inch possible in Winsboro, Columbia, Orangeburg, as well as Walterboro and Moncks Corner, Charleston. All have a 100th of an inch, a half an inch to an inch. And then quarter of an inch to a half an inch also down there near Hilton Head Island. And then an inch to an inch and a half also possible in Cheraw going into Dillon to Myrtle Beach, and at Kingstree 2 to 3 inches in Camden, and 1.5 to 2 inches possible in Florence. So a lot of diverse areas of rainfall, and so that is going to be interesting to see how it all pans out at the end, and just to see how much rainfall each area gets, and how this will affect the drought as well that is going on. Remember, we have a D2 drought going on right now, which is a kind of like a, if you kind of put it like on like a hurricane slash, honestly like a hurricane slash tornado scale, that would be the third one. So if you was to have, let's say, EF0 or tropical storm as abnormally dry, you have category 1 or EF1, that would be moderate, and then EF2 and category 2, that would be severe drought. We have the severe drought, the D2 going on over here in Bamberg, Orangeburg, Allendale and Barnwell. So we'll see. Those areas definitely need it the most, but there definitely is a drought going on over here. And so where parts of these 2 to 3 inches of rainfall is occurring at, definitely there is a drought going on. So it's going to be very interesting to see where the drought will be at as we go into the end of next week. Now, what about the crazy score? We're at a 33 for tonight inside the moderate category. Noticeable weather conditions such as moderate rain, wind, minor storms, breezy conditions as well. All of that is possible, and you might be asking, well, why? Obviously, rain is going on right now. That's the main thing, and especially with some flash flooding that's possible as well. We'll talk about that, but definitely periods of rainfall possibly heavy, mainly in that eastern area of the U.S., Low Country, PD, Grand Strand areas. And then maybe even some minor coastal flooding possible as well. And then it's going to be mild and humid tonight, though, but cloudy and breezy as well. So overcast with widespread rain bands, gusty winds, 15 to 20 miles per hour, gusts up to around 25-30, strongest near the coastal areas. SPC outlook for tonight. There is indeed still this little thunderstorm risk. They kind of made it a bit shorter. Let me go in and pull it up for you right here. Here's what it looks like now. Kind of cut out like a good amount of the low country, but still the Tri-County area going into the Grand Strand and the PD area still looks like a thunderstorm is possible as that rainfall moves throughout that region right now as we speak. Tomorrow, thunderstorms are also possible again. Tri-County area again going into the PD and the Grand Strand, all of that area, but also the Southern Midlands as well, especially the Southeastern Midlands in like Orangeburg, for example, and St. Matthews are all areas that could potentially receive thunderstorms tomorrow. And then for Monday, no thunderstorms are expected on Monday. Isolated flash flooding is also possible tonight. That is for, again, pretty much all of the Grand Strand and a little bit of the PD from Onondaga over into Johnsonville to Pamplico to Hemingway to Rains, Marion, Mullins, all these areas inside of the eastern South Carolina. Looks like isolated flash flooding is possible for you. Now, what about the models? So we're going to start off here at, this is not where I want to be, right here, 9 o'clock p.m. You can see all this rainfall ongoing, the low pressure off to our east, bringing us a lot of that rainfall. And so you can kind of see it actually wants to try and move inland a little bit. And so you can see by 3 a.m., you're going to have a lot of that heavy rainfall moving in to the Grand Strand PD. Pay attention to that. Because you can see it starts to move its way to the west the more later into the night you get. And then once you get to around 6 to 7 o'clock in the morning, a lot of that heavy rainfall will now move into the low country. And that will go on all the way through to 9 to 10 to 11 to 12 p.m. Just a lot of rainfall moving in to that area. Pretty much almost all of, if not all of the low country will be covered with rainfall. Unless something happens. Again, this is 18 hours out. Probably not going to be exact, but it's a possibility because it's here and it's forecasted by this model run here. So there's a chance that pretty much all the low country could all potentially be getting rainfall at like the same time, which would be interesting to see. But we'll see what happens. Like tomorrow afternoon. You have the rainfall going on through there. And then also the other areas as well. Not only the Midlands, but also even parts of the upstate. The upstate's definitely going to get the least amount, but rainfall is moving on up there as well, even if you get into later into the afternoon. Speaking of later, this is 2 p.m. right here. A lot of that rainfall now moving into the upstate now by around 4, 5, 6 o'clock p.m. tomorrow. And so that will move on through. Again, not as much, but a good amount. That low pressure will start to make landfall over into South Carolina, but again, obviously, it's not like a hurricane or a tropical storm or anything like that. Definitely will be some gusty winds, and the rain bands that actually comes with that will somewhat try and kind of signify or have some resemblance toward a tropical system, because it really is a tropical system. It's just not a strong one. So that will continue through to 11 p.m. And then look at this. Finally, we just start to see scattered activity. We don't see anything widespread or anything like that, but it's going to move away from us. This is 7 o'clock in the morning, still seeing some shower activity like in the Tri-County and inside of the Grand Strand area, but it's going to move out of here. And by 2 p.m. on Monday, I think that's finally when we're starting to see our final remnants of this system right here as it moves its way off into North Carolina And it's not as bringing in as much precipitation at all, but it is definitely going to be bringing some. So that's it for the short term, though. What about the long term? What about the long term? So we're going to start off here where we just ended off at. That low pressure is going to get up out of here. And once you get to around October the 15th, the 16th, the 17th, it looks a lot dry, just a lot better for the most part. And so as you get into around like the 19th, the 18th, still looking dry, but once you get later into the 19th, maybe a little system could try to move in. You know, not kind of still too far out to say exactly what's going to happen there, but so it's kind of like some rainfall moving in, but nothing too long. And then as you go into around like the 22nd, 23rd, another high pressure moves in, and this will probably show us some more warmer temperatures as well, because usually with high pressures comes that warmer air. Go through to the 25th, the 26th, the 27th, and then once we get to around like the 24th, we really can't go any further than that in terms of like in-depth look, just because it's too far out. But patterns wise, could have a little system that pops in towards the end of October, but it's still way too far out to say exactly. So I do want to talk about the temperatures as well. So we're going to start off here. Obviously that cold front just passed us, and so obviously that's why it is below average. Now it looks to be above average in the upstate, which is interesting because temperatures actually will be inside the 80s, but that's because obviously this is a coastal system. So if you're more into like the low country, the PD, the Grand Strand, it's going to be more cooler than average over here, but the upstate not receiving it too much, so it's not really going to impact them as much. Yes, they will still be cool over there, 60s, 50s. Still will probably have some of the coolest temperatures out of this entire state. But for the most part, for them, that's actually going to be a bit above average for this time of year. So when you see the reds, the oranges, the yellows, the tans, and stuff like that, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be like hot 80s, 90s. Just means that it's going to be warmer for this time of year. And the same thing with the blues. Doesn't mean it's going to be in the 30s or 40s if you're inside the blue. It just means that it's going to be below average for this time of year. And so as you continue to move this forward even more, you can see just the warmer just eventually takes over as we get more into like the 15th. But look at the 16th, the 17th. It's just really trying to stay near that coastal areas where all that cool air wants to kind of hang out at. In terms of exact, I mean, that's around 60s or so. You can even see some 50s as you get into around like October the 17th, and then you're still seeing 60s, 50s, and more cold air blasts will move in for the most part. But for now, it just looks like that it will stay in around that 50 to 80 range as you move to like the next 300 to 300, 400 hours or so. But things will change. 300 hours out, that's way too far out. I do want to talk about the wind gust as well. If I go on and get this screen up right here. I go to wind. I go to just winds for today. If we go on, okay, that's not what I wanted. There we go. So this is max wind gust for today going into, honestly, really kind of already ended because it goes from Saturday 8 a.m. to Saturday 8 p.m. But this is some of the max wind gusts that you could probably see through possibly tonight as well. But it mainly went throughout the day. You can see mostly the highest wind gusts are near the coastal areas. You see wind gusts all the way from 23, 22 miles an hour all the way up to around 30, 35. And so at the same time, if we go on and move to day 2 for Sunday, Sunday looks a little bit calmer, but still gusty winds moving through from 20s, 17 is the lowest one that I see, all the way up to around 28. So around 15 to 30 is what we're seeing here. And then even as we go into Monday, it really starts to calm down a lot more. But it's still not necessarily calm. Still have wind gusts around 15 to 25 miles per hour at this time frame. If you go into like the max wind gusts, though, just for everybody, I think probably the windiest day probably was today. But it still will go into tomorrow. And then Monday, it won't be like you can hear the wind from inside your house. But it definitely won't be calm for the most part. And so this is the max wind gust that we're going to see all the way from Saturday 8 a.m. to Tuesday at 8 a.m. And so everyone can look at their location here and see what they're going to be at. Now, preliminary, things can change, and so we'll really see what the max wind gust once this event is over. that is it though for the wind gust 2. So let's go on and talk about the tropics. Jerry, if you remember what I was said this morning, for anybody that was there, I said that the National Hurricane Center was not really too keen on Jerry anymore, and the fact how it's going to continue to move its way to the east and die out. Or really not go anywhere. I mean, the remnants of Jerry dissipated at 5 p.m. So for the most part, Jerry is done. Not going to go anywhere else. Going to be pretty much non-existing anymore. And so we were expecting this thing to kind of go to the north and east and just kind of curve away from us. So it really wasn't going to do anything anyway. But it died out a lot quicker than we thought. And so now Jerry is done. So the next name after Jerry is Lorenzo. So that will be the next name after Jerry is done. And it could potentially be this one over here. See this orange area? This is a tropical wave located several hundred miles southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands. Continues to produce a large and persistent area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms. Environmental conditions appear conducive for some development of the system, and a tropical depression could form next week while moving west-northwest to northwest at 15 to 20 miles per hour across the central tropical Atlantic. So there is a 30% chance over the next 48 hours for this thing to form, and also a 50% chance over the next 7 days for this thing to form as well. So in terms of will this thing do anything, will it form, we're going to have to wait and see what happens. But we can look at ensembles. I'm going to see what the ensembles say for it. Because that is a good tool to use. So here you go right here. Time. Well, actually, there is no time. With this one, kind of is some time. You can kind of see it over right here. What this Sunday is right here. Sunday, 2025, 10, 12, 12Z. That's kind of like the time. Just pay attention to the date. You go into Sunday, moving all the way into Monday, and there goes this little system right here, and you can see there goes what supposedly was supposed to be Jerry, but not anymore. There goes our little coastal system that we see over here moving its way out, and the little area that we're watching for here just seems to want to curve out to sea, just like the rest of them. But we have one behind it as well, and this one has a bit of a southern track. We're not making any we are making observation, but we're not making any conclusions now. But this one's a bit further south, so we're going to continue to watch for this one, the one behind the orange area, to see what happens, because this one has a little bit more of a southern track. And even if you look inside of the Gulf as well, there's some area going on down there as well. You can see it kind of has couple areas, nothing much that might be gone by the next model run, not too consistent there, so I'm not really too concerned or not really too aware of this one yet, but this one definitely staying aware for the one behind the orange area that we have here. And it looks like the orange area is just going to curve out and not really going to do anything for us either way, so I'm really just waiting to see what happens behind this orange area. But that is all that we have for the tropics. So let's go on and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can. You also have to be a subscriber, though, too. I forgot to mention that. You also have to be a subscriber for. Mr. Chris comes in first for tonight and says, "Good evening, everyone. Hope you all had a great day." I did. Thank you so much for asking. He also says, "Please remember to hit the like button and subscribe and also share this. This is vital information." He's absolutely correct. He is absolutely correct. Right now, as I currently go and look, we have 17 people. 17 people right now that has watched. And we only have 9 likes. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on with the other 8. But if you are part of the other 8, go on and hit the like button. It's free. You can change your mind at any time. And it's free. That should be the main thing that you should be paying attention to right now. It also helps me out. He also comes back and says, "Been pouring rain all day here in Moncks Corner, and it is still going." Yeah, still going over here as well. I mean, it's been pouring ever since, like, late yesterday at this point. I remember I was actually outside for the most part, so I was standing out in the rain for the pretty much 2, 3, 4 hours yesterday. Now I had an umbrella with me the whole time, was holding an umbrella pretty much the entire time. So I was outside for the majority of it last night, but for today, I've been inside. My Aunt Lula comes in and says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Today, it rained all day, and it is still raining in Georgetown, and we already talked about the models already. Speaking of it raining all day, and it still will continue for tomorrow as well. Trail says, greetings, everyone. Greetings to you. Miss Tolliver comes in and says, good evening. Very cool and rainy day at my house. Pretty breezy. Also, the pond no longer has any visible shoreline. My bird bath has been refilled as well. Sent you a picture to share. We'll go on and show that right after we're done with San Antonio, Raleigh, etc. We'll go on and talk about that and show it. If you want to send me a picture, like Miss Tolliver did, you can. I mean, you have about, if you send it to me quick enough, I can show it probably before the night ends at scweather360@gmail.com. It has to be weather related, though. It has to be weather related. Trail comes back and says, cloudy, crisp day here. I relaxed all day. That's great to hear. Great to hear. I'm glad that you had a relaxful day. And it says, hello, Jay. Lots of rain today. Lots of rain today. Speaking of, I'm actually glad that you said that because I actually do want to see how much rainfall I've gotten today. Right now, an inch and 1.3 inches of rainfall. So that is a good amount. 1.3 inches of rainfall today. And yesterday, I had around 0.36. 0.36. So overall, around 1.6, around just over an inch and a half of rainfall. Now let's go on now and continue. Ms. Oliver comes back and says, please notify Berkeley Electric that the temperatures have been cool. Not time to turn on the heat yet, but portable heaters have been going on, but we have not quite turned on the main actual heat yet. So right now, they shouldn't be getting too much. They shouldn't be getting too much from y'all. That says, good evening, weather family. I trust all is well with everyone. Beautiful day today in San Antonio. That's great to hear from you. We're going to talk about San Antonio. And then Mr. Chris said the rain picked up here just now. Thank you so much for that weather update over there. And so that is all that I see. I don't think I missed anything else. Yes, there is something else. My cousin Cheryl just came in and said, good evening, weatherman. Good evening, everyone. Hope all is well. It's getting kind of chilly in Philly, so weather may bring me some warm air with love y'all. Keep up the good work. Be blessed on purpose. Thank you so much for that message as well. And that is all. So there's nothing else in here. I'll come back to the audience and check it out if there's anything else that comes through. But now let's go and talk about the 4 locations outside of South Carolina. I mean, you might be asking, what 4 locations? I'm talking about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and also Duncan, Oklahoma. And so we're actually, you know what, we're going to do something different today. We've been doing San Antonio first, then Raleigh, then Philadelphia, then Duncan. Let's start in reverse today. So we're actually going to talk about Duncan first, then we're going to go to Philadelphia, then we're going to go to Raleigh, and then San Antonio last today. So starting off with Duncan, Oklahoma first, you have low temperatures tonight at 62, high temperatures tomorrow at 91, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 69. There is indeed no precipitation that is expected at this time. And you might be asking, what about severe weather, excessive rainfall? You actually do remember that fire risk for tomorrow. Do not burn anything if you don't have to, because it will be dry, it will be hot. Winds will be a bit gusty, potentially, because, I mean, usually when there comes a fire threat, usually there is a wind, a little bit of a breeze as well, so make sure that you are paying attention for that. But other than that, no excessive rainfall for you either. Now, what about Philadelphia? You have low temperatures tonight at 59, high temperatures tomorrow at 63, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 57. Chance of showers tonight. Rain is expected tomorrow and tomorrow night as well, and it will be breezy during pretty much the entire day tomorrow and pretty much for the whole night tomorrow. So definitely, it's looking like it's going to be a bit muggy and just not so great. I will say, though, good news. The scattered flash flood risk that you had is now gone. So you no longer have any sort of flash flood risk. So you are good there in terms of flash flooding. And then in terms of severe weather, no severe weather expected for you. Raleigh, North Carolina being the third, with low temperatures tonight at 62, high temperatures tomorrow at 68, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 58. Rain is expected tonight. Rain is likely tomorrow during the day, and then there is a chance of showers tomorrow night. In terms of severe weather, no severe weather is expected at this time. And then for excessive rainfall, nothing there either. And then the final location being San Antonio, Texas, low temperature tonight at 67, high temperature tomorrow at 91, and then same thing tomorrow night at 67 again. No excessive rainfall for you, and you can probably guess for severe weather, absolutely not. So you're good there as well. So that is it for those 4 areas. So let's go on now, since that is out of the way, and look at my email because I know we have some pictures in there. So let me go in and show them real quick, see what we have in here. So this is my main one. Let me go in and go to my weather one real quick. And we have one from Ms. Tolliver. She says, "Hey Joseph, here's a beautiful picture of fall colors starting in Ithaca, New York. Best, Ms. Tolliver. Thank you so much for that." Let me go on and show it. This is a fantastic picture that you sent right here. Let me go and give you a round of applause for this because this is a fantastic photo. Thank you so much for sending this in. Again, if you want to send me a picture of anything weather-related, you can. Send them to scweather360@gmail.com. Again, scweather360@gmail.com. Don't know if it will be as unique as this picture, because this is obviously in New York, but it can definitely be something South Carolina related as well, or even just anywhere. If it's something weather related, absolutely you can go on and send it here. And so that is it for picture. I don't see anything else here inside of my Gmail. I don't see anything inside of the chat except for just some good pictures, beautiful pictures. And so that is all. Top fans for tonight, Mr. Chris at number 1, Trails at number 2, and then my Aunt Lou is at number 3. Congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being top fans for the night tonight. Reminder, if you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button yet, go on and do so. We have 593. We are 7 away. We are 7 away. This is the closest that we've ever been to 600. So let's just go on and get there. 7 subscribers. All you have to do is go on and share it. And we will be at 600 in no time. Just go on and share it to 7 people. That's it. And then make sure that they go and hit the subscribe button as well. Or you can even use their phone, or like I say all the time, you can send it to anyone on social media, or you can send it to friends, you can send it to family, you can send it to acquaintances, you can send it to your worst enemy even though you don't like them. Like I say, you can still go in and help them out one more time, and you don't have to talk to them again. But that's all that I have. Make sure that you are back again tomorrow morning, Sunday morning forecast update, because we will be back then. And then also for tomorrow evening, make sure that you're there as well, because we will talk about the week forecast for the second full week of October, that being October the 12th going into October the 18th. So we're now getting into that week now. So make sure that you're there. I will be back tomorrow. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your Saturday evening. Hit those 2 buttons before you leave.